Above our heads, a silent terror hangs, a specter of unimaginable destruction, a reminder of humanity's capacity for self-annihilation. Nuclear weapons, the ultimate expression of power and the ultimate tool of destruction, remain a constant threat. The world has lived under their shadow for decades, the fear of their use a chilling undercurrent to global politics. Though often relegated to the background, the potential for nuclear war remains a terrifying reality. Understanding the sequence of events that unfold during a nuclear attack, from launch to the long-term consequences, is crucial. This knowledge, however unsettling, is vital to comprehending the true stakes of nuclear proliferation and the urgent need for diplomacy and disarmament. The launch of a nuclear missile is a carefully choreographed dance of technology and terror. Deep within a hardened silo or aboard a submarine lurking beneath the waves, the order is given. A carefully guarded sequence of codes is entered, bypassing fail-safes designed to prevent accidental launches. With a deafening roar, the missile bursts from its confines. Propelled by powerful rocket engines, it climbs skyward, leaving a fiery trail in its wake. The ascent is rapid, the missile accelerating as it sheds stages, its trajectory carrying it out of the atmosphere and into the cold vacuum of space. Sensors and onboard computers constantly adjust its course, guiding it towards its pre-programmed target with chilling precision. The initial moments of a nuclear launch are a blur of activity. Early warning systems across the globe, designed to detect missile launches, go into overdrive. Satellites track the missile's fiery plume, their data relayed to command centers in a heartbeat. Within minutes, world leaders are alerted. The unthinkable now, a terrifying reality. The clock is ticking. The countdown to catastrophe has begun. Having breached the Earth's atmosphere, the missile enters the mid-course phase, the longest stage of its journey. Here, in the unforgiving environment of space, the missile travels at hypersonic speeds, covering thousands of miles in mere minutes. It is a silent, invisible threat, hurtling towards its target with deadly intent. The missile, no longer bound by gravity, relies on inertial guidance systems and pre-programmed updates to maintain its course. It may also deploy decoys designed to confuse enemy radar and missile defense systems, further ensuring its deadly payload reaches its destination. During this phase, tensions across the globe reach a fever pitch. Military forces are placed on high alert, their fingers hovering over triggers. Frantic diplomatic efforts are underway, attempting to avert disaster, to somehow recall the weapon before it's too late. But the missile continues its relentless journey, a silent harbinger of doom. The world watches and waits, holding its breath, praying for a miracle. As the missile nears its target, it enters the terminal phase, the final and most terrifying stage of its flight. Re-entering the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds, the missile becomes a blazing meteor, its surface heated to thousands of degrees by friction. This intense heat creates a characteristic fiery streak across the sky, a visual warning that is as awe-inspiring as it is terrifying. The missile's trajectory, carefully calculated to maximize damage, guides it towards its designated ground zero. On the ground, the few remaining minutes are filled with a mixture of dread and resignation. Air raid sirens wail, a primal scream against the inevitable. People scramble for whatever meager shelter they can find, knowing deep down that it may not be enough. The world holds its breath, bracing for the unimaginable. The final seconds tick away, an eternity compressed into a heartbeat. The detonation of a nuclear weapon is an event unlike any other, a cataclysmic release of energy that defies comprehension. In a fraction of a second, millions of degrees of heat and unimaginable pressure are unleashed, vaporizing everything within a certain radius. The blast wave, traveling faster than the speed of sound, obliterates buildings, trees, and everything in its path. A blinding flash of light, brighter than 1,000 suns, sears the retina, leaving behind permanent blindness for those unfortunate enough to witness it directly. The immediate aftermath of a nuclear detonation is a scene of utter devastation. The air is filled with dust, debris, and the sickening smell of burning flesh. A deafening roar gives way to an eerie silence, broken only by the crackling of flames and the moans of the dying. Those who survive the initial blast face a horrific reality, trapped in a radioactive wasteland, their bodies riddled with burns and radiation sickness. The lucky ones die quickly, the others wish they had. In the hours following a nuclear detonation, the horror continues to unfold. The intense heat from the blast ignites massive firestorms, fueled by the debris and wreckage of the devastated city. These infernos rage out of control, consuming everything in their path, sucking the oxygen from the air and creating hurricane-force winds that fan the flames even higher. The smoke and ash from the fires rise into the atmosphere, forming a massive dark cloud that blots out the sun, casting a pall over the devastated landscape. As the firestorm rages, rescue efforts are hampered by the sheer scale of the destruction and the deadly radiation that permeates the air. First responders, many already suffering from radiation sickness, struggle to reach survivors, their efforts often futile in the face of such overwhelming devastation. Hospitals, if they still stand, are quickly overwhelmed by the sheer number of injured, their resources stretched thin, their staff forced to make impossible choices about who to save and who to let die. In the days and weeks following a nuclear detonation, the consequences of the blast continue to ripple outward, affecting not just the immediate vicinity, but the entire planet. The massive amounts of smoke and dust injected into the atmosphere by the explosion and subsequent firestorms block out the sun's rays, causing global temperatures to plummet. This nuclear winter, as it is known, disrupts weather patterns and agricultural cycles, leading to widespread crop failures and famine. The long-term effects of radiation poisoning begin to manifest, with survivors experiencing a range of debilitating symptoms, from hair loss and nausea to cancer and birth defects. The psychological trauma of the event lingers, leaving deep scars on the survivors, their families, and entire societies. The world, once familiar, has been irrevocably altered, shrouded in a darkness that seems to have no end. The detonation of a nuclear weapon sends shockwaves across the globe, triggering a cascade of reactions from the international community. Governments scramble to assess the situation, their intelligence agencies working overtime to determine the origin of the attack and the extent of the damage. Emergency aid organizations mobilize, gathering resources and personnel to send to the affected region. Their efforts complicated by the ongoing dangers of radiation and political instability. The political fallout from a nuclear attack is swift and severe. Accusations fly, alliances crumble, and the threat of retaliation looms large. The delicate balance of power that has kept the world from the brink of nuclear war for decades is shattered, replaced by fear, mistrust, and the very real possibility of further escalation. The world holds its breath, praying that cooler heads will prevail, that this act of unspeakable violence will not be met with another. The use of a nuclear weapon irrevocably alters the global landscape, casting a long shadow over international relations for generations to come. The specter of nuclear war, once a distant threat, becomes a terrifying reality, shaping foreign policy, military doctrines, and the very fabric of human society. The world, forever marked by the horror of what has transpired, grapples with the consequences of its actions, seeking answers in a world forever changed. The psychological impact of a nuclear attack is profound and long-lasting. The fear of annihilation, once the stuff of nightmares, becomes a constant companion, fueling anxiety, paranoia, and a deep sense of insecurity. The knowledge that humanity possesses the power to destroy itself weighs heavily on the collective consciousness, a stark reminder of our own mortality and the fragility of our existence. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses and updates on global issues.